So I don't normally like doing very vulnerable videos, which is funny because I enjoy watching them, but it's hard when it involves yourself. I don't know. I've been putting it off because it's been stressful. So in November 7th, 2017, Fionn had been starting to he started to fall asleep. We just got his medication after going previous week to get stuff because they thought he had kind of like, I guess it would be acid reflux type stuff, a little more than acid reflux. So his pediatrician gave us some medication and we got it, and this is the first day he started taking it, and he just slept. Like, he was weak, he was just unable to move. So I called up Walmart and I was like, is this a normal sign for the medication? And they're like, no. It pretty much was like, that's not, no one's had that issue. Well, while I was on the phone with Walmart, David yells into the room for me to come, and Fionn started to have a seizure. We first weren't sure if it was a seizure or not because he's never had one before, and it was like his arm was just like clenching and stuff, and he was sleeping, so it was really scary. So we just rushed him to the ER. He started vomiting everywhere on the way, and when I finally got to the ER, David dropped me off at the entrance. I rushed him into the thing. The lady took him instantly from me because he was so pale and knocked out. They realized that there was something wrong, and like, they had him laying just unconscious in the ER on the bed in his own little room, and they hooked him up to all these monitors and did all kinds of tests. And I think since he had the seizure is the only reason they did the brain scan, which came up after several hours. They came up to us and was like, he has a 9-centimeter brain tumor. At this point, we had no idea what it was. So I got on the ambulance with Fionn, and my husband packed everything up and started driving to Memphis, which is a little way from here, not too far. So we get to Memphis and we go to the child's hospital, and they get him all settled in. And the following day, we see the surgeon. He explains how really risky the surgery was going to be, and talked about how he could have more seizures, a possible stroke, it could bleed, possible of not getting it all. After they took him in, and about 7 hours, I think, our surgeon came and said they got everything. He didn't have any issues. There's a lot of bleeding and everything went well. And I was just like, it was like a miracle to me, because before he went in, after all the scans and everything, he was pretty much sure that he wasn't going to be able to get it all like he thought. He's an amazing surgeon, and yeah, like, I owe everything to this man. It's so crazy. He like saved my baby. So about, I don't know, a while he was in the hospital. He was right after they had us walk out, because I guess they had to change sheets, surgery's a little messy. And then I guess Fionn was trying to climb out of the crib. And prior to this, like 2 months prior, he was just chill, which was off. And I was going with what the pediatrician said, but there was nothing other than a little vomiting every once in a while to even think of it being anything. And then all of a sudden, he had all his energy back, and it was my at that time, 2-year-old, now 3. And it was just he was full of life. They actually had to give him some like anti-anxiety meds that kept him like pretty much knocked out at all times because he had to heal from having the surgery. He was just so hyped up. And then at this point we still had no idea what kind of tumor it was. We didn't know if it was cancerous or not. They just said that it was probably ependymoma. So we finally get released after everything, and we're at home. I think it was like 2 weeks, and we got a call to go to St. Jude. At this time we still didn't know, so we go and do all these appointments and stuff, and we sit down with his now primary like doctor, and he was going over everything, explaining it, and nonchalantly it was like cancerous cells, and I was just like dead stopped. I was like, so it is cancerous? And they're like, yes. And I was like, not how I wanted to find out. I was expecting them to like kind of lead me in, not by like and not like just throw it in there. So what Finn has is called Anaplastic Ependymoma. I have a little thing over here so I don't mess it up. It is common in infant and small children, and it is rare brain tumor. There's only 200 alone in the United States that are diagnosed a year, and that's like leukemia and other thing is like in the thousands and hundreds of thousands of other cancers. Like just it's very small amount compared to other cancers, and it's a rare primary brain or spinal stem cord tumor. The signs of it is nausea, vomiting, headaches. My toddler has speech delay and has been having speech delay since 18 months old. So he couldn't tell me if he had a headache or if he was nausea. He just vomited random times, and we were just going with what we do. But now that I know, it's like all the key signs kind of click in, like what's been going on. So it kind of like when you know, then you start pinpointing like, oh yeah, okay, this. So right now he's been catching up a lot because the tumor, okay, say this is his brain, and the tumor was on the left side. So it was so big that his brain is kind of like indented, like from where the tumor is, so it's slowly having to get back to where it was. So right now he's probably about mentally 2 still. He can talk, he still moves, he's a very active 3-year-old, and it's going to be a lot of working on his speech and communication and like that type of development. And there's other things they worry because after the surgery, he ended up having 2 surgeries, one to remove the tumor, and then the second, because of a lot of fluid, they had to go in and kind of patch things up, which then let the liquid go down and allow him to have radiation. And he got it at St. Jude, and I'm so happy. I'm like totally happy about St. Jude. Couldn't have asked for a better team of people taking care of my baby. But yeah, so the tumor's gone. He goes now every 4 months to make sure it doesn't come back, because it's an aggressive tumor already known for growing back, but then on top of it, he has a genetic compound found in it that makes it more likely to be more aggressive and more likely to grow back. So every 4 months he has to go and get MRI. But yeah, it's crazy. Between every day, when he started, it was 6 weeks of radiation. Every day of the week, Monday through Friday, not the weekend, he would do radiation. They would try to book him as early in the morning as they could. So they would have to sedate him because he's so young and would move, and they have to keep you really still. They have like a mask and everything to make it precise, to not get where they don't want to go. So they sedate him every day, which means at a certain point in time, I had to stop giving him food and drinks so that everything was loose. He didn't have any reactions to that. He had a little rash from the patch where his port is, where they connect the needle to use, but no reaction to the actual thing. He lost his hair, but it's starting to grow back, so there's so much to the story, but that's the gist of it. And he's doing great. The tumor's gone. They did the radiation to make sure whatever was left over wasn't there anymore. And his brain is starting to expand back to, they said it probably won't all the way go back to complete normal, but it's showing signs that it's going back to a good place. It didn't touch any of the things. He has good hearing, good eyesight. They test that, and it's just everything's looking good. But I've been having a lot of fears and stuff, and I might go over all that, all the fears like us moms have, and even dads and everybody have about their kid going through this, and your fear of like, what if it comes back? And yeah, I know this is longer than my normal videos, but it was an important one, and I really wish I would have known. All the research I've done about the vomiting he was having, none of it brought up any of this. So yeah, but now I know what it is. It brings up the nausea, vomiting, and headaches, and off balance walking is a sign of ependymoma. And I'm like, why couldn't it be the reverse, looking at vomiting and find it? So I kind of felt like I need to say it because it's such a rare thing, and if anybody's worrying about possible signs of something that they're not understanding, I just want to make sure that they get the right diagnosis and not go searching forever until it's pretty much the last straw and your kid's hanging in by nothing, it feels like. Well, I guess I'll end it here, and I'm hoping to do more stuff on my channel, hopefully more happier videos. This was a lot of struggle, but it's part of our story, part of mainly his story, but you know what I mean. Alright.